Well, Kenny, thanks for joining us. Clearly a disappointing result, but it was a better performance under difficult circumstances.
Yeah, there are a lot of positives in terms of individual performances. That's where it is. Some missed chances, which ultimately are frustrating, and a goal against that was avoidable in a very tight game. But in terms of ourselves, the positives are the individual performances were there, which is a good thing. But ultimately, in the end, frustrated with a defeat where some game management and some ruthlessness in front of goal have cost us.
Because you say there was some good chances, particularly late on.
Yeah, they were, and for those boys up front, they usually do finish those type of chances. Harry's had a couple of headers. Obviously, Aaron's had the rebound as well. And similarly good positions in the first half, but we do need to score from other areas as well. We can't just be reliant on those two all of the time. There's not enough from midfield. There's just not been enough goals, and centre back position, Beckles has been good, but we need to come to the party after that. Dan Happy had a good game today, but he's missed a real good chance in terms of a header from a corner where he's free and he's put it over the bar. Now he gets a lot of first touches, Dan, and he needs to start scoring.
As you say, the goal was disappointing from an Orient perspective. It came from a nose-free kick.
Yeah, it did, and we got broke on too easily. A little bit naive in terms of our positioning, and we did look in trouble on the turnover. And Spearing's obviously, given Lawrence Figueroa no chance.
Jaden Sweeney called back, I understand, from Wilson in order to play today, and he did okay, didn't he?
He did okay. Yeah, he's been playing that position in recent times, and it showed as well, because it's good when you play regular football, and he came back today, and as you say, after maybe a difficult start where it took him a little bit to get onto the pace of the game, he did show some promise, definitely, as did Matt Young making his debut as well.
Absolutely. How difficult are the circumstances at the moment? Can I ask you about the COVID first?
Yeah, we've got a lot out injury wise and COVID. We understand that, and the rules are that if you've got 14, then you can play. Now we're bang on 14 because even medically the information and the assessment all of us have is Paul Smith was available to play 20 minutes today, and that was the right thing with his particular history, and if he can stay back, he'll be a big player for us in the second half of the season. And if you're looking at an attack of Drin and Harry Smith and then Paul Smith behind, it is something that I do want to get to, so we did need to do it right. But then after that, it's left us with 14 players, and if you include a keeper, then you have to play the game, and that's exactly where we were.
You could see from the impact that Paul Smith made what an important player he will be.
Yeah, he did well on the ball. He has to do better off the ball in terms of some of his movement, but we can pick on that, and similarly, if he's ready and can play on a regular basis, then he'll improve as well tactically. That's his next challenge, but first off, he needs to be fit and available, playing and training, and if he can get to that will be an advantage for us.
What about those injuries? Can I ask you about Hector Cipriano?
Yeah, he should be fit for next week. Didn't quite make it, as you saw last week. Just had a grade 1, very tight hamstring, but I would expect Hector to be training Monday, Tuesday of this week, and be fit for Boxing Day, so that's good.
And do we know now about the extent of the injury for Tom James?
Yeah, that's not good news. I mean, he'll be out for a considerable amount of time. It looks quite a bad hamstring, so in terms of the season for him, it'll be 12 to 16 weeks, I think, for Tom.
That really is bad news. What about other injuries, Kenny?
Yeah, and if you're looking at Riley, if you're looking at as you say, James, practically suspended. Obviously, Mitchell and Mitchell Archibald and Beckles, who have been 3 of our starters. COVID related, although at the moment they haven't got COVID, but it's COVID related absence today that we'll have to see, and hope that things clear up for them in terms of next week, Boxing Day.
In terms of the bigger picture, Kenny, and this problem that the whole of football has with COVID at the moment, what would you like to see?
Yeah, I think some honesty right the way through is important. We pride ourselves on that as a club, and after that, then it does come down to vaccines, definitely. The vaccine programme is, and has proved in a short space of time to be as effective as anything. So vaccines protocol to give us a chance of trying to keep going and not break. We don't want to go back to stadiums that haven't got supporters in. We don't want to take those step backs. So we have to be the ones that put the measures in place and adhere to the rules, really, so that we don't put ourselves into that situation. One as an industry, and two as a society.
The next game is Boxing Day, then it'll come back after the first time that you've tasted back-to-back defeats as the O's manager.
Yeah, definitely. And you're looking at today was a very tight game. Some good individual performances, which I was pleased with, which based on the future. Overall, we've lost to a detail really that we didn't get right, but it does happen in terms of when you turn the team over. That's the big thing. But we'll lick our wounds. We are disappointed to lose the game, but we'll lick our wounds. I think a few of the younger players have come in and given us good options. Today that's a positive out of it, and then we'll be firing the games very, very quickly, and we'll have to get as many people fit and available as possible as we go. Boxing Day, 29th, 1st. There's points that are available, and we want to get momentum going into the second half of the season. And ultimately, my thoughts and all of our thoughts will turn towards that very, very quickly.
And finally, for me, Kenny, those travelling fans, it's a long journey from. They got behind the team.
Yeah, they did, and saw an encouraging performance. Disappointed that we couldn't get any points, and that was a key for us. But as ever, we really do appreciate, and always show our appreciation to the supporters who put their time and their money into supporting the lads, which they did admirably today.